Welcome back. It's Friday, and I've got another Franco film for you. This time, the third of a trilogy of Marquis de Sade films, Eugenie De Sade. Of course, there was Eugenie, which also has Christopher Lee in it, and then you got Justine. This third film in the series is based on some of the writings of Marquis de Sade. This one specifically on a short story. And just Franco was was enamored with Marquis de Sade's writings. He indicated he thought he was a very prolific and interesting writer, much misinterpreted, according to Franco. This film stars Paul Mueller, who plays Albert Raddick, and his daughter, about to say sister's daughter, played by Soledad Miranda. Susan Corda. I'm not sure why they changed the name. The producers apparently didn't like Soledad Miranda's name, so they changed her name for the credits. But at any rate, it's a father-daughter situation. The father is into erotic writings, and he catches his daughter spying on him and reading his novels, particularly the ones that are of the more sadistic vein. And rather than punish her, he actually encourages it and forges a relationship with her that's more than just a father, that becomes incestual. Of course, for the movie, because at the time in 1970, this kind of thing wasn't heard of. I mean, you just couldn't put out a movie like this. They're Paul Mueller and Soledad are portraying a stepfather and stepmother, but stepdaughter. But the reality is it's a father-daughter situation. They just changed it for the censors. At any rate, they through these writings decide that the way to enjoy life is through sexual gratification and pain inflicted on others. And so they go about creating all these motiveless crimes to satisfy their own perverted fantasies. And this film really, I think, is one of those that is a turning point for Franco, because he just ended his relationship with Harry Alan Towers. And a lot of those films kind of follow a formula proven formula that really doesn't play outside the edges. This film was a turning point, made in 1970, and it definitely shows Franco portraying really his interest in the dark side in the fantasy world. So it's kind of a sharp right turn from all the stuff he had done previously, and it's more a reflection of what Franco is as a person and what he has an interest in. Soledad Miranda's eye candy par excellence. This was her last film. She died in a car accident, I think at 27. Very sad. But the film opens up with, right out of the get-go, you're in for it, because you see Soledad with another girl naked on the bed, and all of a sudden it cuts to Paul Mueller. It looks like maybe Mueller handed the camera over to her and got her to videotape. His daughter got his daughter to videotape him strangling this girl. Basically like a snuff film. And then it immediately cuts to Franco. Franco's in this film as Attila Tanner, who is kind of living vicariously in the dark fantasy world through these two. He spies on them and watches them. And so he basically, I guess, was called in by the police to investigate or give them some help. And he was shown this film that they filmed themselves killing this girl. And the next thing, he's talking to Soledad and saying, if you can help me write about your father and get to meet your father and better understand him, I'll put you out of your misery. And that's how the film opens up. And so you're in for it. There's all kinds of bizarre ritualistic murders. At one point, Soledad and Paul Mueller dress up in this garish 60s bright red boots and clothes and hats, and they perform a kind of a sadomasochistic kill on this girl with all this ridiculous clothing on. Typical Franco, and it really set this film pretty much set the stage for what we see with Franco going forward, and everything after that followed it. I think this is one of his best films, no doubt about it, and definitely deserves a watch for devoted Franco fans. For some reason, I think this Blue Underground release is the definitive release. Although, if you look at the trailer, there's 2 scenes from the trailer that are not in the film. So, once again, the Franco mystery, I don't think there's a film he's ever done that is not shrouded in some level of mystery. So maybe there's another version out there with a couple of extra scenes that were for the European cut or something like that. I don't know. Very interesting. There's also a 20-minute commentary or interview with Franco where he talks about Soledad and his interest in the Marquis de Sade particularly. It's a great quality print from Blue Underground. Excellent release. So I can highly recommend this release. And it definitely signals that Franco's dropping the pretense of a normal, routine, if you will, horror type genre type films that he was doing with Harry Allen Towers, and moving into the type of cinema that he really wanted to film. So yeah, good film. I should also mention that the music of Bruno Nicolai is in this, and it's a very haunting, as you would expect, a very haunting, ethereal, church-like score that plays in the background while they're doing these killings, which gives this whole thing a very unnerving, even more unnerving feeling about it. So yeah, definitely recommend this release. Check it out. Eugenie De Sade. That'll wrap it up for Franco Fridays. Thanks for watching.